Hey resellers, thanks so much for tuning in to today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about items that sold in February, category specific. I'm also going to be talking to you guys about why I'm really not interested in selling clothing anymore. That is fast fashion, mall brands, anything that is really typical and modern, I just have no interest in, and I'm going to explain to you why. Also, and lastly, I'm going to be showing you guys a haul video, a small haul of things that I picked up that I think that buyers are going to be super interested in and are going to make me sales this month in March. Okay, first of all, guys, let's talk about February sales. I saw on Instagram today where someone had broken down their sales, not as far as what their net or what their gross sales were, but how many actual sales they had. And I thought, I wonder on eBay, because eBay has treated me so much better than Poshmark lately. I wonder on eBay how many sales I had in the month of February. How many items did I sell in February? So I calculated it up and it looks like I sold 91 items over on eBay in the month of February. I thought, man, that's really great. I think my business is growing. What is it that I'm doing differently? And I started to think about how lately I have really been pivoting from what got me into reselling, and that is readily available clothing. Now, what do I mean by readily available? I mean stuff that is not vintage, not high-end designer, things that the average person could walk into their thrift store or consignment store and purchase, the things that the average consumer could walk into a mall today and purchase, things that someone could walk up and find at a yard sale. Those are the items that a lot of resellers first get into reselling with, clothing. I don't blame you for it. That's what really pulled me into reselling. I saw somebody reselling clothing on their YouTube video. It was like a lifestyle YouTube video, and she casually kind of mentioned that she was selling clothing, and then she casually kind of mentioned it wasn't her clothing. And then I thought, wait a minute, do people buy clothing used secondhand and then sell it for a profit online? And that was my first introduction to reselling clothing. I don't even remember really what year that was. Gosh, maybe 2016, 2017. I'm really not sure. But when I saw that, it led down a YouTube rabbit hole, and I eventually found out about the Goodwill outlet. And I thought, I've kind of heard urban folklore, I guess, about a place like this that charges you by the pound. And before you knew it, I was driving 3 hours one way to get this clothing, and I was just captivated by the fact that you could buy Calvin Klein, Free People, sometimes H&M, J. Crew, all of these brands, and you could sell them online. So that, I would say, for the first year, 2 years maybe of my reselling business, that was my reselling business. But lately I really started to pivot because I realized that buying things just because a buyer wants them results for me in a death pile of items that I'm not interested enough in listing. Buying items that are low profit also results in a death pile of items I'm not interested in listing. I realized for me, there needs to be a great motivation to list these items. There needs to be a motivation to do this type of work. So for me, that is listing items that I'm passionate about. I love vintage clothing. I love unique clothing. I love designer clothing. So that has really began to be where I pivot when it comes to clothing. I have picked up Free People and I've had it sit for a year because the profit that I'm interested in making on it just isn't there. I know that there's an entire subset of resellers that are fine with picking up mid-range fashion for $20 a shirt and selling it for $35 before fees are taken out. Making $5 an item is absolutely fine for some people's business model, but I'm just not interested in it. It does not fit what I would like to accomplish out of reselling. So for that reason, I've really started to pivot away from clothing. So I wanted to see, of the 91 items that I sold in the month of February, how many of those items were clothing. Guys, 20 pieces were clothing. I have right now 766 items in my store. I have listed clothing for years. There is no shortage of clothing in my store. There is more clothing in my store right now on my Poshmark and on my eBay than there is home goods, than there are hard goods, than there's home decor, anything. There's more clothing than anything else. And of the 91 pieces that I sold in the month of February, 20 pieces were clothing. So then I had to break it down even further. I thought, of those pieces of clothing, what pieces of clothing were something that isn't readily available? So I wanted to know how many pieces were vintage. Of the 20 pieces of clothing, 10 pieces were vintage. Those pieces of clothing are not something that a buyer can just walk into the store and purchase. So they had a reason to come to eBay. They had a reason to come to my store as a vintage fashion reseller. Now, if I was selling the same black J. Crew sweatshirt as everyone else, what reason do they have to come to my store? My photos have to be better. My price has to be cheaper. I'm just, you guys know, so done with racing to the bottom. And I feel like fashion is a race to the bottom because it is so oversaturated. You may be hearing this at a time that you are just getting into reselling, and you may think, Rachel, pump the brakes. I just bought all of this clothing to list. Let me tell you that there's profit in clothing. There's enough profit in clothing that it kept me in reselling for years while I built the fundamentals. There is easy shipment in clothing. If you are just starting out, I encourage you, sell clothing. I'm just explaining to you guys why I, as a more seasoned reseller, am pivoting away from this oversaturated market of clothing. So let's talk about the remaining 10 items of clothing that were not vintage. I have 7 of those remaining 10 were a retail arbitrage find. You guys know recently I went by Walmart, picked up lots of clothing items for $1 and sold them just under what Walmart's price was with free shipping, which still allowed me plenty of profit on a $1 purchase when I didn't even have to take photos on these items. I've been doing really, really well on that. I think I sourced like 75 items. So, you know, at the end of the day, if I'd made $5 a piece, I was going to be doing a pretty good return on my investment for that one trip to Walmart, not even having to take photos, listed everything from my couch with stock photos. So, 7 of those clothing items were those retail arbitrage finds. Again, the buyers had a reason to come to me because the photos were good, they weren't even mine, and the prices were phenomenal. So much time goes into buying, like I say, a Talbot's skirt, a Ann Taylor dress. So much time goes into sourcing that and then finding all of the information, researching the price, taking the, I hate to photograph clothing. I've decided that as well. The largest photography area in my office is a hanging mannequin for clothing. Guys, I love fashion, but I am so tired of photographing $10, $20 dresses, because let me talk to you for a minute about hard goods. But what excites me more are the other, let's see, 71 items that sold in my store in the month of February, and those are hard goods. And that is really outside of the atypical item. Hard goods is where I am going to start focusing more and more of my sourcing. Those items are harder to ship, they are harder to store, but they are bringing me such a better profit, because in clothing, if you can find a t-shirt, a blouse, a dress, and it sell for $20 or $30, then like that is a score. That is a good find. Even if it is a phenomenal brand, I feel like when I first got into reselling, where I thought the prices were going to be for J. Crew and Free People, I know I keep using those as examples, but they're good examples. Madewell, where I thought the prices were going to be, they're not. If you can find an item in those brands to sell for $20 or $30, you're doing very well. With hard goods, I feel like my average sales price is $20 or $30. That is a basic item that I'm going to pull off of any shelf any day. I don't even have to go searching for that. A good item for hard goods is going to be over $50 for me, and I have had several sales in, you know, $80, $90, $100. I sold a set of dishes yesterday for $350. So clothing, let me think if I've ever sold a piece of clothing for $350. Yeah, not thinking of anything. So with that in mind, I want you guys to take a look at the haul that I have today and consider how you could start to integrate some of these items into your store if you are primarily clothing based in that oversaturated market. If you are just getting started, I think if you at least get your feet wet, and potentially you want to start with some unbreakable home goods, hard goods items, if you just get your feet wet in there, I think you're going to see so much expansion of your business and the potential for profits over in Hardgoods that you, like me, may never look back at some of these clothing brands. Now guys, I am not saying in the slightest bit that you're not gonna see me pick up clothing, because I will pick up interesting clothing every day. You know, vintage clothing is an absolute passion of mine, and I will pick it up every time I see it. As long as the price is right, I guess. Vintage denim especially, and designer clothing. I actually have a piece of designer clothing in here today. Not really clothing, more of an accessory, but there wasn't a chance I was going to leave without it. So without any further ado, let's see what I did pick up to put into my eBay store. Okay, this first item that I picked up, I actually showed this on a thrift with me, and I told you guys that I left these for the manager. Well, she ended up asking her husband if he wanted them, and he didn't. So I saw them and picked them up. These mushroom cups, these are so phenomenal. Look how sparkly those mushrooms are. These are beautiful, beautiful cups. There was no marking, but I was actually able to find the exact ones on eBay, sold at $25 plus shipping. These are plastic cups in a nice little box. These will still be able to go first class. And I paid $1.50 for the entire set. So a definite win there. Again, if I'm gonna find a top, you know, for $1.50 that's gonna sell for $25 plus shipping, it's gonna have to be something phenomenal. I'm not just gonna walk in and pick it up off the shelf. So these cups went home with me. Okay, I actually need your help on this next item in regard to keywords. If you could tell me how you would address this item, because I actually haven't even been able to pull comps on this yet, because I know what it is, but I haven't been able to pull up anything like it using the keywords I can think of. This is a wall hanging plaque here. You can see it's like just a metal alloy top. Let me get the camera to focus there, if it will. A metal alloy top here with a little hook, and this is velvet, and isn't she beautiful? This just gives me like gothic vibes. I wished that there had been a set of these. Guys, I paid $1 for this, and I just think it's beautiful hanging on anyone's wall. It is so pretty. So it definitely gives me also mid-century or earlier vibes with the color green of velvet and this wood. So I used words like wooden wall plaque, metal, medallion, Victorian. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm unsure what to ask for it because I can't find comps. So I'm thinking though between $20 and $30. Tell me if you think I'm way off. I will wait until I can get some comments on this video to list this so that I'm not way off and giving this thing away. So you guys let me know what you think. There are no maker's marks anywhere on it that I see. Just a bunch of stickers from previous antique dealers and things that I'll get those off. I picked up some books during this trip because they had some antique books. So not vintage, but actually antique. And I feel like in books, you do need to have something special before a buyer is willing to buy. The colors of all of these match. And I think that perhaps someone was decorating with these. But this first one is called The Spy. I believe that this one is The Spy. Yes. Okay, so here's the typeface there. You can see says The Spy. And on the inside of the book here, this there's written down some information, like some notes on the book, and then it says Sarah Clark, grade 11, 1929. So my great grandmother was 5 years old when Sarah Clark in grade 11 wrote this. And I just thought this was so cool. The pages are quite fragile on this book. The value of the book, it's not worth a ton. I would say $10 probably or less. But then when I was looking through this, and I was actually showing this to my mom on a video chat, and I found in the back here, there's a piece of paper, a homework assignment from 1929 from Miss Sarah Clark, and it is on Nathaniel Hawthorne, and that is written on paper from 1929. So how cool is that? I haven't yet decided whether or not to include that with this book or maybe sell this separately. Comment below and let me know what you think. It's written in a beautiful cursive writing. So a copy of The Spy. The next book that I have is called The Light That Failed by Rudyard Kipling, and this one is really not in phenomenal condition. It has like an Asian elephant here on the front, and the back is completely missing off of this. But again, it was an antique book. Handwriting in the front here says June 24, 1911. and the cover is just about ripped off of this. This says New York Doubleday Page and Company, 1910. So again, I just bought this book because I thought it was so amazing that it is so old, over 100 years old, revised April 1899, copyright is 1899. So probably again we'll get, you know, less than $20 for this book unless I lot these up. This one's not in that great a condition, but I just thought it was so cool and I wanted to save it from winding up in the garbage, really. This one is The Man Without a Country, if I can get that to focus there. Beautiful little artwork here. And this particular book, let's see what the copyright is on it. I wish I may never hear of the United States again, is the quote. Copyright on this one is 1863, and the last copyright is 1897 on this one. So again, well over 100 years old, this particular book, and I just think that that is really, really cool. I love the way that this book is bound. This one is in the best condition of the three. And oh, there's another handwritten quote here. Each time we make a choice, we pay with courage. Amelia Earhart. That is super cool. I just, I love to find things that are handwritten and handmade, and yeah, I love this. I love everything about this book. So those books all came to me for about $1 a piece. You're not going to believe what I found at my little hometown thrift store in my town of, you know, 7,500 people. I saw this and I thought, I'm not sure if that's real, and it was $3, and I thought for $3, it's worth investigating. And so I got online to see if it is authentic, and it has every marking of every authentic one that has sold on eBay, and the sales price is about $150 on eBay. So this is the type of fashion I will continue to pick up. This is a vintage Versace hat, and my family and I keep joking around about that Versace hat that I picked up, but this is so cool. I love the rainbow typeface. I love the basic vintage typeface. This is the tag that I was talking about, that every piece has the exact same tags that they are selling for $150. It just seems to be about the going price. So this is awesome. If I wore hats, I would probably keep it $3 into $150. And it's a very high quality Versace hat. Why did someone in my community have a Versace hat? Not really sure. Why did someone in my community donate a Versace hat? Again, not really sure. I guess that I don't really care why they did. I care more why someone's gonna buy it from me. I have one more piece of fashion and another item, again, that I will continue to pick up because the profits are there. If you are looking at doing fashion, I encourage you to express interest in accessories, hats, belts, shoes, and purses. So this is a pair of men's, I think it's pronounced Teva, just not a brand that I purchased myself, so I've seen it a whole lot, and these can go for really good money. Like, these can go for $60 to $100. These were $4 at the thrift store, and they're in very, very good condition. So I picked these up. I do not enjoy cleaning used shoes, so I will not pick up really dirty used shoes. I did in the beginning, really because I was naive more than anything. If an item requires a lot of cleaning or repair, the chances of it winding up in my death pile, again, are pretty great. So I picked up these shoes for $4, hoping to sell them for at least $60. This next item originally just looked like a little wooden box to me, but I was interested enough because of the beautiful cedar tone to open it up, and it says Lane Cedar Chest, Alta Vista, Virginia, presented by Meek Furniture Store, Hiawatha, Kansas. So I was like, well, that's pretty interesting. There wasn't a key to it. But when I flipped it over, it talks about this being like a miniature version of a full-size cedar chest. And I thought, oh, I wonder if that's like a salesman's sample. Sorry guys, random reset. I just got a tornado warning on my phone, but it could not be sunnier. The radar's completely clear, so quite confused about that, but moving on. I noticed on American Pickers that the salesman samples can often command really good money. So I looked this up, and it looks like they're selling on eBay for $30. I don't have the key, but I think people are using these as like jewelry boxes. My son thinks it seems to be a toy box, and so I had to pry it away from his little fingers. And I will turn a $1 purchase here again into 30 bucks. While I was looking at the plastic cups, I also found these, and I found these the last time at the same thrift store. Again, I found them in that Thrift With Me video. These were 25 cents a piece. They are little mint green cups, and the brand is Stanley. So I wasn't aware, but apparently Stanley had some home products and kitchen products, these cups as well. So I saw a few mixed lots over on eBay where people were selling like a mixture of colors and sizes of these. That is exactly what I will do. This set of 2 was 50 cents. This one was 25 cents, and these were 25 cents a piece. So where are we at? $1.75 for these. And I hope to get around the $25 mark for these. I will probably offer free shipping because they will just be nothing to ship. So really good profit there also. And what I'm really loving about these dishes and these dishes and the dishes that you're about to see is that, you guys, they're plastic. These items, I was interested in this. It was all kind of wrapped up together, and I pulled this one spoon out. I didn't even look at everything, but I saw that this was William Rogers, and so it's a silver plate spoon. Really, really beautiful, huge spoon. I mean, like the size of my hand here, serving spoon, and it has a monogram P, which is actually my maiden last name would have a P monogram. So I wanted this entire set and asked for a price on it. The price, they gave me a price of $1, and then I get home and realize after I have unwound it all, no, there's no secret pieces in here. It's the 3 pieces that I thought, but these 2 pieces are sterling. These are not silver plate, so huge score here. I need a little bit of help with this monogram. If you guys can see, maybe screenshot that. Is that an O? I think it's an Old English O. There we are. Is it an O? It's not a C, it's not a D. I think it's an O. What do you think? Okay, so I got a soup ladle, and I got, this is like a little sugar spoon. Sterling silver. That is awesome. So when I list sterling silver, I will put this on a scale and show how many grams, how many ounces that it is, because a lot of times people are interested in that more than they are the actual piece. They're interested in the silver. So, and I thought it was great that it comes with this little pouch to keep things in also. Looks like there was probably more pieces originally. So if you see these tied up like this at a thrift store, open them up because there's probably silver inside. I got a piece of ephemera along with, now ephemera is like paper, vintage paper products, or I don't even know if they technically have to be vintage, but it's when you just sell paper. This is a postcard, has been cut here on this corner and on this corner, but is unused, and it says Transportation Row, General Motors, Chrysler, and Nash buildings. There's not a huge command for these necessarily. I mean, I think this one was selling for like $5. I joked with my husband and said, what do you think the buyer would do if I literally put a stamp on it and sent it to him? I'm kidding, I would not do that. But this is a neat little piece that I picked up just because I thought it was really cool, and I like automotive history. I found this 10-yard fight NES game, and we have an NES system that is kind of on the fritz right now. We need to repair it. So I didn't run comps on this 75-cent game, and guys, it's actually not that big of a seller. It's like between $5 and $10 shipping included, and there are several of them over on eBay. So may just add this to our own personal collection. May go ahead and list it and then keep it in the personal collection, test it, use it. If it ever sells, then that's great. I mean, I'm going to make a profit on it. It just won't be a huge one. Next up, I found these were all together, and they were taped. There was a piece of tape across the whole thing. So it was really hard to see a marking. I actually just pulled my knife out and cut the tape there in the thrift store, and was able to see the marking on the bottom of these that says Texas wear. Can you see that? Texas wear, there we are. So this says Texas wear, and it is practically, as far as collectability, it is like a plastic version of Fiesta. I say that because it's available in a plethora of different colors. So the one thing about the Texas wear though that I was not understanding, this piece is clearly marked Texas wear. Many of these plates are clearly marked Texas wear, but let me get 2 out here. Okay, tell me if there is any difference between these 2 plates. They are the exact same color, you guys. I will show them against several. All the same plate. On the backs, same markings, except this one says Texas wear, and this one does not. And so I thought, well, is that like a knockoff version? Are they so close on the knockoff though? Because look, it has the ring, and then you see the little die dot here in the center with the ring, and this one has a ring with a die dot in the center, but no Texas wear marking. So while I'm looking up on eBay, I see that people selling Texas wear are showing the back of the saucers and no marking on some of them. So if you know anything about Texas wear and you want to shed a little light onto that for me, definitely do, because I'm interested to know, is it all Texas wear? Is some of it not? I picked up this serving dish, which goes for about $20 on its own, and I got 9 total of these brown saucers, and of the 9, 2 do not have markings on them. So could you pick out the 2? Why do 2 of these not have markings on them? These 2, no markings. All of these have markings. They look identical, guys. So I got 9 of those, and I want to say they were lotted up with this for like $1.50. And then I found these, and none of them have markings on the back. The brown ones, the dark brown ones, they say made in USA, which the other that did not say Texas wear did not say that. So I don't know if I should just maybe list these as vintage. How do you pronounce it? Melamine? I may just list them as that material, vintage, you know, plastic dishes. I bought teacups too. And these are plastic. These say Texas wear. They are adorable, mid-century. They say Texas wear. So I brought these home, and 10 out of 10 would definitely recommend playing with your kids with your inventory, because it always ensures you'll be able to sell it. No, it does not. I played restaurant with my son, which turned into tea party because these cups are so cool, with my 4-year-old with these dishes, and he has basically pirated them from me, and they live in his toy kitchen since I've gotten home with them. I want to sell these cups. Some of these plates that don't have markings, I could part with and give to him. And then there are also, there's an entire stack of brown bowls, and he can have a few of these also. Maybe, I don't know, those ones are made in the USA. But guys, do I just let him keep playing with these cups? I really want to lock these up together in my Texas wear. So he wanted to play with all of these also. I don't know, I probably never should have let him play with them, because we're probably talking combined with everything here. I mean, if we're doing $25, and then maybe in 2 separate sets of $25 to $30 a piece, 4 different sets there, close to $100 in plastic dishes that I paid less than $5 for. I feel like I could get him a pretty good little plastic set of dishes from the store for less than $100. So I'm probably just gonna have to steal my inventory right back from my own child, and definitely get him his own little set of dishes so I can sell these. Okay, the last item that I want to show you guys is something that I purchased for me. This is so cool. So it's G.I. Joe, which I love Barbie, but never really was super into G.I. Joe. But when I saw this, it says Pewter Classics, and I had to see what was inside. I had to see what pewter figurine was in here that was a recreation, because what they basically did, and I think these were like 2000, 2003, something like that, they recreated some very classic G.I. Joe figurines, and they cast them in pewter and sold them off as part of a collectible series, and they are one of like 10,000, I think. So I don't know that they're numbered, but they're limited edition. And this guy, had he been anything else, probably would have wound up in my store, but you guys, he's an astronaut. He is an astronaut, which is amazing enough on its own, but let me show you something. His helmet opens up too. There's no way. These sell for $20 plus shipping, you know, $20 to $30 all in online, but he is not going anywhere. As much as I love vintage toys and I love space exploration, for those of you that don't know, and I know a few of you do, I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a little kid. I wanted to be an astronaut and I wanted to be an archaeologist. And so when I find dinosaur stuff or space stuff, I lose my mind. And so I'm keeping this. He wasn't the only astronaut thing that I found at the thrift store that day. There was a really cool collectible coin of the Challenger, but I just thought I realistically don't really have anywhere to display that. This I will find somewhere to display. Who knows? I may put it right here in the kitchen cabinet. I think that is so cool. So occasionally while I'm thrifting, obviously I find things for myself. I hope you guys enjoyed this haul video and the explanation about why I buy certain things, my reasoning behind them, and the anticipated profits. Remember, these are always just what I hope to get for an item, but I like to be realistic about that. I don't want to give you some ridiculous expectation and have you go out and spend, you know, hundreds of dollars on plastic dishes. I'm probably going to get $25 to $30 with shipping included for most of these sets of plastic dishes. So if you're cool with profits like that, like I'm cool with profits like that, go find yourself some plastic dishes today. Look for Texas ware, look for made in America, look for good stuff. You don't have to sell breakables to sell hard goods. Does that make sense? You don't have to be in electronics or something that you have to test or something really fragile to be able to sell hard goods. Not breakable. You could damage silverware, but probably won't in shipping. Not breakable. You would need to test this. Not breakable. Books aren't going to be breakable. Again, something that could be damaged, but just ship it well. It's kind of clothing. It's an accessory, but again, not breakable. I just wanted to show you guys, quit being afraid of hard goods. It's not all breakable. Vintage is really, really cool. I don't ever mind showing you my vintage finds, because what's the chances you're gonna walk in and find the exact same thing? If you do, great, there'll be 2 listed. And I want to share my knowledge with you guys about what I'm picking up and why it's selling. So thanks so much for watching this video. It did definitely turn out a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I appreciate you guys watching it and hope that you found some useful knowledge. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing. I'd love to have you here. And I forgot to give you guys a look at this really cool shirt. If you made it this far, then you have to see this really cool shirt. So it is the Three Stooges, and they are like set up like, I don't know, Run DMC or something. Maybe this photo is someone else, but basically their faces are superimposed and they're like 80s, 90s rappers on this shirt now. It's really, really cool. So again, fashion that I would resell. God bless you guys again. And remember, treat your business like your business.